Hey, sister.
Hey.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to Be On The Line podcast. We are three sisters, three women, three wives here to create, to collide and connect with you, all with each other. This podcast is a kind of a very much of birthed out of our vision for just wanting us to share and be open about our journey, our experiences as Black women, and just trying to really engage with our Black community of women out there and others. And we love to get together to be able to kind of just chop it up, have some real moments, have some hard moments, have some fun moments, and all that kind of stuff. But today we're going to kind of do a bit of a connect session. We haven't done one in a while, so we're just going to kind of talk as family members, as sisters, as supporters of each other, and just be real about some things. Because I'll start by just saying that we are entering Q4 of 2020, and to use a sports analogy for those who are, it's the final quarter. Sometimes it feels like the chips are down. It feels like the scoreline's working against us. How are we going to find the energy to just push through to the end? Because, 2020, I think as a whole, has been insane. It's been a very tumultuous year for lots of different reasons. But I was just saying earlier before we started that there's also, for me anyway, personally, been so many opportunities and reasons for celebrating. There's been some really great things happening as well, like personally, with Kevin, work and stuff like that.
Yeah, come on.
So sometimes you can get so consumed by what's happening that you forget to find joy. And you almost feel bad for having joy, And again, this is me reflecting on my own personal experience, that there's been moments where I'm like, we've kind of bypassed the good news back onto the kind of, because from my personal experience, the year's been a lot about, the early part of the year being around Black Lives Matter and just having the reality of racism really present, coming through to kind of all the other stuff that's been going on, even stuff that was happening by Beirut, and just seeing that globally, the world is messed up economically and all that kind of stuff. And then to be in a position now as Nigerians and seeing what's happening in Nigeria is heartbreaking. It's actually heartbreaking. Like, young people with their voices are being killed for wanting to live in peace, for wanting to, it's like, what? Where are we? And I think that heaviness, like I said, I felt like I've spent this year grieving. I feel like I've been in a different state of grief, up and down. And we know all the feelings that are behind grief. And so that was just me kind of as an intro to kind of talk about where I was coming from. But just, I think, the theme around today's conversation is very much like through the heaviness, how do we find the light? I don't want to say darkness because of the connotation, but through the heaviness, how do we find that light? How do we find that moment of joy?
I think this will be a good one, because I must admit I'm struggling. Yes, there's absolutely joyful moments. If you hear any extra noise, because my husband's around. But I'm just having a bit of a hard time. I'm having a bit of a hard time professionally. And I don't want to seem ungrateful, because obviously I have a job and there's plenty of stuff I do outside of my job. But, for those, I'm not sure if you know or not, those out there, but my number one dream is is my writing. Oh, I know I'm gonna get emotional. It's just been tough. I've just been having so much rejection.
Yeah.
It's just been hard because it's just my passion, do you know what I mean? And I really believe that I'm such a good writer, but I've just had, in a row, I've had 12 rejections, and I know it's like you're waiting for that right one, but it's just tough. That's all. And a lot of what I do is mentor other writers, young writers, and it's great that they've been doing really well. But I put a lot into myself, and I put a lot into my writing, and it's just hard. That's all. It's just and it seems maybe silly, especially what's obviously really going on in the world. But writing is a form of my expression. It's how I express myself. I'm always writing. It's how I get through stuff as well. I've always been a writer, and I'm just finding it. I'm just finding it really hard. That's all. I can't lie. It's just
real. This is these moments. And honestly, one of the things that I'm learning more and more now, even as I venture into new avenues of growth and leadership, is that you have to keep reminding yourself who you are.
Yeah.
Who you are. And 12 people's opinions cannot change the very fabric of who you are, and you cannot let them take that from you. Mm-hmm. And I think so much about what we do and the conversations that we have around, with Be On The Line, and the way that we want to connect and help. This has never been about just us. This is just about raising all of us up. And I think this is an area that is, so honest, and I appreciate your vulnerability in sharing that. But the truth is, this happens to so many of us in so many facets and aspects of our life. It can happen to us in our workplace. We start questioning ourselves. It happens in our relationships when things go wrong. We start questioning ourselves. But you have to have your North Star as far as, who am I? What do I know to be true about myself that is immovable? And 12 people's opinion, one person's opinion of how they treat you in that relationship, one statement or whatever, what voices are coming up against you, even if it's your own inner voice, though, whatever is not aligned to that one thing or that group of things that is true about you, you have to learn to reject those lies, because they're not truth. And and you as a writer, you have said that, that you were born to do that. There's no way that you have set up yourself on this journey incorrectly. That. And so, it's hard when others don't get it. It's so hard to feel misunderstood. And it's so hard when people don't, tune into our wave or our heartbeat. But that does not take away your heartbeat. It just means you don't get it. And that's okay. And I'll keep perfecting my craft. That's okay, because that's growth. That's growth for me.
I was just about to say, you keep
There's
going.
no failure. There's only learning. So your opinion is either an opportunity for me to learn, or it's an opportunity for me to realign who I bring my message to. Those are the only two options. The option for me to sit down and stop is not an option.
It's not an option. And you know that, T. Like,
and you know that.
Absolutely. I do. I think is because there's a lot more going on as well. And I just think, it's just layers. And today, just this day of recording just happened to just be like, oh man.
You know what? You channel that. You channel that emotion. I think one of the blessings that you do have is the fact that you can channel those emotions into a story. And so you say, you're just giving me life and new stories. You're giving me a place to channel. So you keep doing that. And, just find your strength. But I appreciate it. And those are, there are days like that. We all have it. And that's when, I had a day like that two days ago. And I took myself on an hour and a half walk. It meant 15 minutes to be that long. And I was just speaking to me and my God. And I was out, I went out in tears, and I came back just rejoicing, because I was just affirming over and over again who I am. And that's the truth of it. And the lies are anything that doesn't align with that. And even if the lies that I say to myself, or those inner critic voices. So
I hear that. So recently I put up on our Instagram page something that Serena Williams had said when she was asked when she was 9 years old, who do you want to be when you grow up, or who do you want to be like? And she was like, I want people to be like me. And you know what? Yeah, I've never, ever, I don't know how this will come across, but I've never had imposter syndrome. I've always felt, especially in my writing, or the things that I love to do, especially outside of work with, all the stuff that I do, I've always felt like I should be here. Like I've always, when I walk into a room, I'm like, cool, where's my seat? Yeah, sure, that's for me. I've never actually kind of felt like, oh no, I shouldn't be here, or I've never actually felt that. And so do you know what I mean? So when it comes to like some of my 100%, even with my writing, I know it's gonna blow. Like I really do. Like I've never doubted myself. I've never doubted my gifts or anything like that. I've been spoken over. I just know that's my path. But I think there's just this heaviness because there's lots of other things that are going on as well in my life. There's been major challenging aspects that's been happening recently. Health-wise, I've been quite stressed. I've been having a lot more sickle cell crises. So I know I have to obviously take care of myself. And I think with that, sometimes with health things is what kind of gets you down because you feel weak and you feel, like I was at the hospital today. But I think there's just, in layers, there's just so many layers and you just feel like, oh my God.
It feels almost all consuming.
And overwhelming. I feel overwhelmed at the moment, I think. Yeah.
And can I just say, one of the things that is a real something to think about or something to consider is that, and something I'm grateful for is this, and this is why, it was weird to feel like, why would we do a session and put it out there of us doing this? But for me, this is a demonstration of the importance of like family, connection, sisterhood, friendship. Like you need this. Like we weren't made to walk this earth alone. Do you know what I mean? We really were not. And I think that particularly the thing about quarantine and lockdown, one of the biggest things that is being reported is loneliness. And feeling so lonely, and that's really, really heartbreaking. And so I think that I'm so, when I talk about finding the moments of joy, the noise of life that actually doesn't go anywhere. You know, sometimes it's louder than other times, but it doesn't go anywhere. And so I think for me, the ability to be able to kind of connect with you guys and just tune into this moment, you know, while not feeling like it, like the lashes aren't even on, like I was just like, let's pull through.
All I could do is to put some eyebrows on my face.
It's funny. It's like,
I love my eyebrows.
We all have our different ways of expressing, but you know, but when I hear you say things like your health and those things, I'm just like, to your point, Wendy, about kind of coming back to our purpose. I think it's also, you know, again, not to people would have heard this, but self-care, like we need to care for ourselves, like because you know, life is always going to throw things at us and we need to be at our strongest. And I'm really, really learning that, because one of my, I guess, coping mechanisms or not coping mechanism, but is that I eat my feelings or I drink them. So there is a glass of wine right here as I say that, but no, but do you know what I mean? Like a lot of the habits that I have about dealing with stress and things like that, and when I feel overwhelmed, aren't actually healthy habits. I wish I was those people who were like, I'm going to get up and run my stress away. I wish that was me. But my usual thing is, do you know what? I'm just going to have a glass of wine. I'm just going to whatever. And so I think that, but you know, but we know, but then you take yourself out for the moment. You know that, okay, that's not the best way to cope. This is not the best way to manage. But but I think for me, I'm trying to really find the value in leaning on the people around me, and particularly, you know, having sisters is a really incredible opportunity for me, because being the youngest, I have two incredible women ahead of me who've walked so much of life before me, and I have so many just lessons to learn. I only hope that I can offer myself in terms of a way of encouraging too. But I just really do think that, you know, we have to really find the richness and value things like this and value our relationship, because again, maybe it's because of what's happening, but I'm really kind of being like, you know, you guys know I live in the present. Like I'm all about let's live let's be now, let's be present. And so for me, I'm like, I'm just grateful to have this. I'm grateful for this connection. I'm grateful that today, you know, I have breath, I have air, and it is taking it back a little bit to the purity of it.
No, you guys are my self-care. Like this is, you know, I've been feeling this way, but I think, you know, the tears are coming straight away, because it was just like, I'm just looking at you two on the screen now, and you know, we're not in the same room or whatever, but yeah, I love you guys, and you know, you're always honest, you always give good advice, and that's what
is okay as well. The vulnerability is okay.
No, I don't have a problem with showing. Oh, come on now, you know that I'm the emotional sensitive one. No, I have no issues of showing vulnerability at all. Please, you know, but it's more, yeah. You know, you guys are, you know, you feed my soul. You know, I feel better. I along with my husband, you know, you guys are kind of next in that.
You know, back to kind of your point, Buki, about, you know, that like this, what is this year, what is this last quarter going to give people, or how should people handle this last quarter? And I think you're right, whether it's a day of disappointment or it's just been an overwhelming accumulation of one thing after another, which I'm really, honestly, I think for a lot of people, that's really the place they are. It's like, how do we finish? We can't control what's going on outside, but we can control to some degree of how we respond and how we, like you say, care for ourselves through this process. And I think one of the things that I think for a lot of people is realizing that I think you can't stop holding your breath. I think this stuff is going to take a minute, right? The world has been ugly. It remains ugly. And this has just been a very acute, you know, time for that. But you've got to let go and almost accept what this is. Like, this is life, and it's harsh at times. And I think hopefully for most people, it's been a wake-up call or a realization of what really matters, you know, and maybe they weren't in a situation, or they haven't been in a situation where they've been aware of that, and this has brought it really to home for them. And it's like, okay, wow, when my chips are down, whether it's my coping mechanisms, what are they? Are they the best ones for me? My support structure, do I even have one? I've been content to really just kind of go with the flow, but when push comes to shove, the fact that loneliness has really brought itself so central, you know, front and center for so many people, it is making people question who is around me and who are they, and are they of value? And so I think, you know, and am I taking care of myself? Am I healing? Am I looking after myself when all the distractions are gone? You know, am I at peace with myself? Have I got that comfort? And so I think, you know, in this last quarter, if this year has been eye-opening, don't be afraid of what you've found. Don't be afraid of what you've learned. Take stock of it. Take a moment. Inhale. You're human, you know. But it could be also a good opportunity to just look at what this year has taught you and make the necessary adjustments. Not everything at once. You know, this is not the time to take on a 24-step program, but maybe there's one or two things that you can now pinpoint and say, this is how I'm going to take care of myself better. You know, this moment may last longer than we anticipated, for sure. It has, right?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
How can I take what I've learned about myself this year and do better for me? Not for anything else, but just for me, you know?
Yeah.
That's a good shot.
I like that. You're so wise.
You're so wise. I love it. No, it's that's incredible. I love your ability to like, you take all of. I feel like me and Tia here, we go like, or sorry, and one's just like, la, 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 la.
Just, yeah, I have my moments, you know, and like big moments.
No, we've seen them.
Big moments, right? You know, and like I said, it was an hour and a half walk of just, you know, just self-doubt. And I think for all of us, I know for me, you know, connecting back to God has just been a powerful place for me, and just getting such audible clarity about this is who I am right now. One of my my most go-to set of scriptures is just one from Isaiah that just simply says, I am chosen. You know, I am, you know, God is basically, it's like a love letter to God, from God to me. And I use it, and I'll read it to you because it just heals me to my soul. And for whatever it is that you need within your soul, you know, take it. But I'll just share this because it is just given me so much of what I need right now. And I'll just quickly review it. But the one I have is, thought I had it closer.
Already, I am chosen with the banner.
I have so many, but
that song as well.
Basically, you know, in a summary, I can kind of summarize it, but I just call it a love letter, and it just says, okay, here it is. Okay, yeah, here it is. And so I just call it, and it's from Isaiah, and it says, I put my name in it because, you know, that's what you do. But now this is what the Lord says. He who created you, Yuwande, he who formed you. Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine. When you pass through waters, I will be with you. When you pass through rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. For I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior. I will give Egypt for your ransom, Cush and Seba in your stead. Since you are precious and honored in my sight, and because I love you, I will give people in exchange for you, nations in exchange for your life. And for me, that just gives me life, because that feeling of you are mine and I will give anything for you. Like it just, you know, and so
actually I've been using that this week. Actually, I haven't been looking in my Bible for a while, and I opened it up because you know, when you're like,
you just sometimes
I need and
I'll take you to church.
And I actually started that one, and my all-time favorite and is Psalm 23 about the blitz. There's like a message version where it just says that he leads you to still waters, he lets you catch your breath. And right now I just need to catch my breath.
There you go.
So yeah, I'm just trying to reconnect with that again. But yeah, you know, yeah, man. Because look, I've got a sty on my eye, that side. It was a lot bigger. I couldn't even open my eye. And I'm just like, the way my body it rejects stress. It doesn't like stress. It's like, TD.
It's literally just like, stop it, because otherwise I will be making you look one time. So.
Yeah, exactly.
My little 3-year-old, when it was at his worst, so I couldn't open my eyes, he was like, Mummy, you look angry. You look like the Hulk. And I was like, oh, yeah.
That's weird. I love it that you have the kind of body that says, yeah.
yeah. Probably.
I will throw you up if you don't.
Yeah.
Break, so.
I will make you look butters. So do something about it.
And that's what you do. And again, I think for everybody, again, that thinking of, what do I need? What do I need? Take care of yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. What matters most? The world is crazy. Our leaders are crazy. Our politicians are crazy.
Right.
You know, and if you have any doubt about that, you know, go read some CNN. But this is why I think so much now, it's like, not to say we're on our own. I don't mean it in that kind of negative way, but take care of yourself. Take care of you, you know? Absolutely. So I love the realness, y'all. But, you know, this year, you know, yes, it has been tough, but life is tough. It's been tough. You know, we've gone through worse fires and bigger storms. And we will get through this. We are resilient. You know, for those of you that have been blessed enough to still have breath and life, you know, if that's the only reason why you're grateful, take it, and the rest, go find those moments. I see a lot of people making some really big life decisions. You know, I've heard countless people that are moving. You know, people are just moving and re-examining what they want out of life. So people are making, people are buying dogs and getting, breaking up relationships.
Getting a cat.
You're getting a cat. Yeah.
I'm getting a tattoo. See what we do.
Whatever you need to do.
It's a big deal. I'm not a cat person. I'm not an animal person.
You are really not. So that's a move for you.
We can't get a dog because we don't have a big enough house. We don't have a house, so we have a flat. And so I think a kitten. Well, we'll get 2 kittens and their friends. But yeah, we'll talk about that next podcast.
Love it. And your tattoo. What are we doing? Full sleeve, back,
tattoo. I'm having Desire in a heart on my sleeve. Because
so tailoring.
What are you doing?
What am I doing? I'm not doing anything as dramatic as that.
I'm working on your flyness, aren't you?
No,
because coming into a certain age, your flyness has gone to the next levels, my friend.
Oh,
your
really?
Let me put some sprinkling on my sister. Doesn't she look incredible?
Look at that lipstick alone.
What round of applause for a stunning sister? Yes. Listen, when I grow up, if I be looking like this, then thank God that we share the same genes. So when people are like, your sister's beautiful, I'll be like, we have the same genes.
You know what mum does? She's like, yes, thank you, yes. You know, mum claims.
But if I go further back, I start to look like, just.
You know what? It's a bad day today. Look, I'll come back. But look at the eyebrow, though. The eyebrow is still there.
The eyebrow is real. And talking about genes, okay, so just as we wrap up, because I've got to go pick up your
pick up the keys.
So Oba, right? So for those of you who don't know, T has this thing where when she laughs so much, she cries. Like her emotions from laughter to crying are really close. And so she can laugh so much where she ends up sobbing and bawling. Oba does the same thing. And I was like, you are like your auntie. He laughs so much that he starts crying, and he's like, I can't stop laughing. I'm so overwhelmed with my laughing, and he just starts crying. And I
love that. I love that. Desire showing that. Yeah. Desire showing that when he'll crack up at something on YouTube. I don't know what, and I'll just come down. I could hear this. It's proper chuckling where he's on the floor. I'm like, oh my god!
Oh, bless my nephews.
Yeah, I was like,
just really quickly before we go, just on a cheerful note as well with the kids. So Josiah likes when was it Siri and Google, when we've got Google.
Don't even get me started.
I secretly recorded him talking to the Google thing. It was like, Google, what time it is? And then Google was like, I don't know what you're saying. What do you mean you don't know what I said? I'm saying what time it is. And it's hilarious. And he's like going, and then Google's like, I don't understand you. Why don't you understand me? Listen to me.
Oh my god!
He's mad. He's getting so angry at this thing. It's hilarious again. I don't know.
We've got. You guys send us a recording.
I thought Oba and his relationship with Siri is I was like, needs some help. Like their relationship, Siri doesn't even understand us anymore. Unless you sound like a 7-year-old boy who sounds like he's on a helium anyway. But it's just like Siri. And the other one, TK has on his phone. So we have Alexa.
You got Alexa, yeah.
But TK has Siri on his phone. Anyway, so he was like, Siri,
What?
Did your Siri say that?
What? No.
Okay. I'm going to show you next week. So we were like, because we were asking a question to Alexa, and Tika's like, Alexa's racist because he couldn't understand the Niger accent. Siri, and this is we were like,
no, Siri is rude.
Like feisty.
Siri's a bad girl up in there.
Okay, so wait. So next podcast, let's talk about our home devices and how they're how they're feisty.
Podcast. I've got stories.
No.
Racist. Ignorant.
Yeah. Racist. I can imagine.
I'll tell you, Siri. Oh no. I'm like, Siri, I don't appreciate it. I'm like, who put in the? Trust me, I promise you.
I'm gonna unplug you.
Come in for Siri. Check yourself.
Check it. You're in the sink, and I'm not putting you in the rice to dry out.
All right, that's our next podcast. Thank you. Bye.
Right, we're going.
Okay, y'all. I'm gonna go pick up my children. Love to you. Be well. This is how.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Love you.
Bye, guys. Bye.